November 1993, the Australian Grand Prix. Ayrton Senna, the three-time Formula One world champion, sits in his final post-race press conference of the season. Across from him is Alain Prost, the man the world considers his eternal counterpart, his rival, his shadow, the other half of the greatest rivalry in F1 history. Everyone expects Senna to name Prost as the greatest opponent he ever faced. Some anticipate Mansell, others think maybe Piquet. The air in the room freezes as the question is asked. Senna pauses, he reflects, and then he shocks the entire motorsport world. He doesn't say Prost, he doesn't say any F1 champion. He reaches back to a time before fame, before sponsors, before the politics of Formula One, and names a driver almost no one in the room has heard of. Terry Fullerton, Senna says calmly. He was very experienced and I enjoyed very much racing with him.
Who is or has been the driver that you get the most satisfaction racing against, past or present?
I would have to go back to 78 and 79 and 1980 when I was go-kart driving. A teammate for Fullerton, named Fullerton. He was very experienced and I enjoyed very much that driving with him because he was fast, he was consistent. He was for me a very complete driver. And it was pure driving, pure racing.
Because he was fast, he was consistent. He was to me a very complete driver, and it was pure racing. Pure racing. Two words that meant everything to Senna, and revealed everything about the rivalry that shaped him long before the world knew his name. But who was Terry Fullerton? And why did a humble British kart racer leave such a mark on the greatest driver in the world, the karting king? To understand Senna's confession, you have to travel back to 1978, long before McLaren, before Lotus, before iconic rain races and impossible laps. Back when Ayrton was simply a hungry young driver arriving in Europe for the first time with big dreams and a stubborn determination to prove he belonged. Waiting for him was Terry Fullerton, already known as the king of karting. He wasn't just good, he was the best. Fullerton had already won the 1973 Karting World Championship and built a career as one of the most respected factory drivers in Europe. In karting circles, he was the gold standard. Clean, methodical, technically gifted, and relentlessly consistent. Senna joined the Italian Diap factory team at just 18 years old. Fullerton was 7 years older, calm, disciplined, and already a star within the sport. Together they drove the same equipment, tested the same engines, raced the same tracks, and pushed each other harder than anyone else ever would. These were not the polished circuits of Formula One. These were raw, unforgiving tracks where the only thing that mattered was nerve, precision, and absolute instinct. No aerodynamics, no politics, no pit strategy, just pure, unfiltered speed. Fullerton instantly saw something in Senna, a fire, a focus, a dangerous amount of natural pace. Senna saw something too, the one driver he couldn't easily overwhelm, and that mix of admiration and frustration laid the foundation for one of the most intense, honest rivalries Senna would ever face, the pure rivalry. For 3 years, Senna and Fullerton battled wheel to wheel in what many insiders still consider the most competitive era of karting ever. The rivalry wasn't polite, it wasn't gentle, it was raw, aggressive, and personal. Senna was often quicker out of the gate, especially in early test sessions, where his raw talent was impossible to ignore. But Fullerton had something Senna didn't yet possess, a cerebral, structured ability to develop engines, analyze setups, and tune every detail of the kart until it was perfect. Senna attacked a problem with instinct and ferocity. Fullerton solved it with method and experience. Their approaches clashed and created fireworks. The rivalry reached legendary status in 1980 at the Champions Cup in Jesolo. Senna was leading on the final lap, already tasting victory, when Fullerton made a bold, calculated move, overtaking him with an intensity Senna didn't expect. Fullerton won. Senna was furious. He accused Fullerton of driving dirty, an accusation that didn't hold up under scrutiny, but revealed just how badly Senna wanted to finally conquer the man he considered the benchmark. The DAP team boss, Angelo Perilla, put it simply, Fullerton and Senna are the two best drivers in the world. All the others are capable of good races, but nothing more. With Fullerton behind you, there is always danger. The rivalry was so emotionally charged that the morning after that race, Senna's frustration erupted. As Fullerton stood relaxing by the hotel pool, joking about the events of the previous day, Senna stormed over and shoved him into the water, fully clothed. It wasn't cruelty, it was frustration from a young man who rarely lost, realizing he had found someone he could not easily surpass. That moment, as Fullerton later recalled, revealed just how deeply Senna respected him, because anger is often the final mask covering admiration. The diverging paths. 1980 became the turning point, the moment where the two careers split forever. Senna was burning with ambition. He needed to win a world championship. He needed to move up. Formula Ford was calling, and with it the ladder to F1. From the moment he left karting, the world saw the inevitability of his rise. The podiums, the victories, the myth, all of it was already forming. Fullerton made a different choice, and it was a choice rooted in family tragedy and harsh reality. Fullerton's brother had been killed in a racing accident. The trauma never left him. In the early 1980s, Formula racing was brutally dangerous. Drivers were dying every season. Fullerton looked at the risk, looked at what he loved about karting, and made the decision that would define his life: stay where the racing was pure and the danger manageable. He didn't chase glory, he chose certainty, safety, and the discipline he loved. He stayed in karts for another decade, continuing to dominate, continuing to build a legacy. But the window to climb to Formula One closed for good, and perhaps that's why Senna remembered him with such clarity. Fullerton was the last rival he ever faced before the sport became a business. The pure racing legacy. Fullerton's name quietly faded from public memory until the 2010 Senna documentary reignited the world's curiosity. Suddenly, people wanted to know, who was this man Ayrton Senna feared and respected more than anyone else? Fullerton himself has always been humble, soft-spoken, even a bit amused at the attention. Today he coaches young drivers, passing on the same precision and discipline that once tormented Senna. But the deeper meaning behind Senna's quote goes far beyond speed. Senna didn't name Fullerton because of victories. He named him because Fullerton symbolized something he would never experience again: competition without politics, without money, without pressure, without fame. Just two drivers, equal machinery, and the will to outthink and outdrive each other. That purity disappears once you enter Formula One. In F1, everything becomes strategy, sponsorships, corporate agendas, and engineering advantages. Senna loved F1 deeply, but he knew that the raw essence of racing, the thing that made him fall in love with the sport, existed only in those early years with Fullerton. Fullerton was the last rival who met Senna at eye level, with no distractions, no excuses, and no external factors, just talent versus talent. That is why Senna called him the greatest rival of his life, not because Fullerton reached Formula One, but because Fullerton challenged him in the only way that truly mattered. In the purest form of racing, the kind that shaped Senna into the legend he became.
Or if he was an average driver, we didn't know anything about that. But when he tested the first few times, very soon we realised this was a very fast driver. So, well, you've got to remember, he was only 17 when I met him, so he was really a boy. He wasn't a man, and I was mid-20s. He was a little quiet and a little shy, but rather than shy, you would say he was intense. He was quite intense
in car racing. So terrible shame that he died. So.
You were better than him in karts for many years. Were you conscious that he was trying to learn from you, or did you learn anything from him?
I was conscious he was trying to learn stuff from me, without a doubt, yeah, which is, you know, what you'd expect. I've been around a lot longer than him, and so learned a lot of the tricks of the trade. So he was looking to learn off me. And what he did for me was really keep me on my toes. He was so fast and so determined and so focused that you couldn't relax at all. He was, you know, be nipping at my heels instantly. So it really kept me at the top of my game for probably an extended period of time, actually. So,
if you enjoy this video, make sure to like and subscribe our channel. Thank you.